Listen. Some people believe the spirit stays in the body.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The story of Bring Her Back unfolds like a haunting whisper carried through the corridors of memory, a tale built around grief, desperation, and the dangerous boundary between life and the unknown. From the moment the world first heard the name of the film, it sparked curiosity because the title alone hints at a mystery deeper than a simple rescue or reunion. It suggests a journey driven by love, loss, and the refusal to accept fate as final. The film centers on a man whose life has collapsed into silence after the disappearance of someone he loves more than anything in the world. The emotional core revolves around this sense of emptiness, and everything that follows becomes a reflection of how far a person can go when the heart refuses to let go of the past. Instead of presenting a straightforward thriller, the story blends emotional intensity, psychological depth, and supernatural undertones, weaving a tale where reality bends and memories become both guide and curse. At the heart of the film stands a father named Aidan, a man once full of warmth and imagination who now lives like a ghost in his own home. His daughter Lily vanished under circumstances that defy explanation, leaving behind no footprints, no evidence, only the lingering echo of her laughter. The disappearance shattered him, turning every corner of his life into a reminder of what was stolen. He clings to her drawings, her toys, the fading scent of her childhood, and the hope that she might still be out there somewhere. The community around him has long since moved on, filing her case under tragedy and closing the doors on discussion, but Aidan's mind refuses to accept that she is gone. Instead, he believes she was taken not by a person, but by something that lies beyond what ordinary eyes can perceive. The turning point of the story begins when Aidan starts receiving fragments of messages and symbols that appear in places connected to Lily, scribbled on her old bedroom wall, whispered through static on a broken monitor, and appearing as strange patterns in the woods where she was last seen. The world around him begins to shift in subtle ways, as if responding to his grief. Lights flicker when he enters a room, shadows stretch unnaturally, and moments of stillness carry the faint sound of a child calling from impossibly far away. Aidan interprets these signs as messages from Lily herself. Instead of warning him to move on, the world seems to be pulling him deeper into the mystery, urging him to step beyond reason. While others worry about his sanity, Aidan believes with absolute certainty that his daughter is still alive, trapped somewhere between worlds, waiting for him to bring her back. Driven by the fragments of clues he uncovers, Aidan begins tracing the symbols to an abandoned settlement on the outskirts of town, a place locals fear and avoid. Once filled with families, the settlement collapsed decades earlier after a series of incidents that people describe as curses or unexplained vanishings. Aidan learns that the land is filled with stories of a thin boundary between the living and the lost, a veil that occasionally shifts, allowing those who are taken to leave traces behind. This revelation terrifies and excites him simultaneously. For him, it confirms what others refuse to believe. He returns night after night, mapping the symbols and attempting to decode the messages that seem to be guiding him toward a doorway unseen by normal perception. The forest surrounding the settlement grows stranger with each visit, trees bending unnaturally, whispers drifting through the branches, and the air heavy with a sense of anticipation. Even though danger thickens around him, Aidan moves forward, sustained by the hope of reuniting with his daughter. As Aidan continues searching, the atmosphere grows increasingly unsettling. The film shifts into a psychological labyrinth where dreams bleed into reality and memories intertwine with visions. Aidan begins experiencing vivid moments in which Lily appears at the edge of his sight, watching him with eyes full of fear as if urging him to hurry. These visions serve as emotional anchors for him, reaffirming his determination, but they also raise questions about what force is manipulating him. The deeper he descends into the mystery, the more the world around him warps, turning familiar places into distorted reflections of his grief. The film plays heavily with isolation, sound, and imagery, creating a sense of constant suspense that pulls the audience into Aidan's fractured psyche. Every clue he finds feels like a lifeline, and every shadow feels like a warning. Aiden eventually discovers that the symbols he has been following form a trail leading to an underground chamber once used by a forgotten group obsessed with bridging the world of the living and the realm of the lost. Here, he uncovers journals documenting experiments on connecting with those who disappeared inexplicably over the years. These writings describe a belief that some children were chosen by an unseen force dwelling beneath the earth, a force that feeds on fear and binds itself to souls it absorbs. These revelations shake Aiden to his core because they imply that Lily might not simply be missing, she might be held by this entity that thrives on vulnerability. But fear does not stop him. Instead, it ignites a deeper resolve to confront whatever darkness lies ahead. No matter the cost, the story intensifies when Aiden begins undergoing strange physical and emotional transformations. His dreams become more consuming, and his connection to Lily strengthens to the point where he can hear her calling faintly, guiding him through visions of her final moments before she vanished. These visions reveal glimpses of another realm, an endless corridor of shadow, where whispers echo like broken lullabies and cold, ghostly hands reach out for anything warm. Aiden interprets this realm as the place where Lily is trapped, suspended between existence and oblivion. Though the danger is unimaginable, he feels that he is getting closer to her, closer to the truth that has evaded him for so long. As Aiden approaches the climax of his journey, the film's atmosphere becomes a storm of emotion and tension. Reality fractures around him, pulling him into a liminal space where time dissolves and the boundary between father and daughter tightens like a thread ready to snap. In the final confrontation, Aiden finally reaches the threshold of the other realm, entering a dark world where the entity reveals itself not as a monster of teeth and claws, but as an ancient presence woven from shadows, sorrow, and forgotten voices. It communicates not through language but through emotion, overwhelming Aiden with a crushing wave of memories, both his and Lily's, as if trying to absorb him into the collective of lost souls. Instead of fighting with physical force, Aiden confronts the entity with the full weight of his love for Lily. He relives every memory he ever shared with her. Every moment of joy, every night spent reading stories, every small laugh that filled their home. These memories act as a shield against the entity's hunger. For the first time, Aiden sees Lily clearly within the darkness, trembling but alive, her spirit flickering like a candle. The emotional reunion is powerful and heartbreaking, filled with fear, relief, and determination. Aiden pulls her into his arms and begins the desperate struggle to bring her back to the living world, fighting against forces that seem impossible to overcome. The final moments of the film are a whirlwind of emotion and suspense. Aiden races through the collapsing realm, carrying Lily as the shadows try to reclaim her, tearing at the bond connecting them. The audience is drawn into the agony of every step, feeling the weight of every moment as the boundary between worlds grows thinner. When Aiden finally emerges from the underground chamber with Lily in his arms, both of them are exhausted, shaken, and forever changed. The world around them feels familiar yet different, as if touched by something ancient that now lingers at the edges of reality. But the most important thing is that Lily is back not just as a memory or a vision, but alive, breathing, and safe. The story concludes with a bittersweet reflection on the lengths one can go for love. Aiden's journey becomes a symbol of resilience, proof that the human heart can confront even the darkest forces when driven by the bond between parent and child. The world never fully understands what happened or how Lily returned, but for Aiden, explanations no longer matter. What matters is the daughter he refused to give up on, the girl he pulled back from the edge of the unknown. The ending leaves viewers questioning the nature of the realm Aiden entered and whether the presence he confronted will remain dormant or rise again. But beneath the mystery lies a powerful message. Love can pull us through the darkest dimensions, and hope can survive even when everything else falls into shadow.